Most people fear silence. They fill every void with noise, with faces, with meaningless conversation. They need others to validate their existence. But you choose solitude, and they call you broken for it. They say you're cold, distant, damaged. Let them talk, because what they don't understand is this: solitude is not loneliness, it's power. The world glorifies the extrovert, the loud, the charismatic, the ones who can't sit still without an audience. Society teaches you that your worth is measured by how many people surround you, how many notifications light up your phone, how many hands you shake. But here's the truth they won't tell you. The strongest people you'll ever meet prefer to be alone. Not because they hate people, not because they failed at connection, but because they've tasted the freedom of their own company and realized it's sweeter than any crowd could ever offer. If you're someone who craves solitude, who recharges in the quiet, who finds peace when the world shuts up, listen closely. You're not weird. You're not broken. You're equipped with something rare, something most people will never possess. Let's break down the 6 traits that define people who genuinely enjoy being alone. These aren't just personality quirks. They're survival mechanisms, weapons, shields, and if you recognize yourself in them, you'll understand why you were never meant to run with the herd. Trait 1. You see through people. You don't just hear words. You read intentions, body language, micro-expressions, the pauses between sentences. You can tell when someone's lying before they finish the sentence. You sense manipulation from a mile away. You know when someone wants something from you, even when they smile and pretend they don't. This isn't arrogance. It's pattern recognition. You've been burned before, maybe more than once, and you learned. You studied people the way a predator studies prey. Not to harm them, but to protect yourself. Because trust isn't free, it's earned. And most people haven't earned yours. So you pull back. You observe. You listen more than you speak. And in that silence, you see everything. The fake laughs, the performative kindness. The alliance is built on convenience, not loyalty. You see the masks people wear, and you refuse to pretend you don't. That's why you prefer solitude. Not because you hate connection, but because real connection is rare, and you'd rather be alone than surrounded by liars. Trait 2. You value depth over breadth. Small talk drains you. Surface level friendships feel like a waste of time. You don't want to know what someone had for lunch. You want to know what keeps them awake at night, what they fear, what they've survived, what scars they hide. You crave substance, philosophy, raw truth. And most people, they're terrified of going that deep. They'd rather gossip, complain about trivial nonsense, distract themselves with entertainment and drama. But you need more than that, so you withdraw. Because you realize something crucial. It's better to have one real conversation than 100 shallow ones. It's better to sit in silence with your own thoughts than pretend to care about things that don't matter. People mistake this for antisocial behavior. They think you're cold. But the truth is, you're just selective. You know your energy is finite, and you refuse to waste it on people who don't deserve it. Trait 3. You've been betrayed. Let's not pretend this didn't shape you. Somewhere along the way, someone you trusted stabbed you in the back. Maybe it was a friend who turned on you, a partner who lied, a family member who chose sides. Maybe it was subtle, a slow erosion of trust, or maybe it was brutal, a single act that shattered everything. Either way, you learned a lesson that most people spend their whole lives avoiding. People will disappoint you, not might, will. And once you accept that, everything changes. You stop expecting loyalty. You stop assuming good intentions. You stop giving people the benefit of the doubt until they prove themselves. Because you know the cost of being wrong. Some call this cynicism. You call it realism. You don't hate people. You just understand them. And understanding them means protecting yourself from them. Solitude becomes your fortress, your sanctuary. Because walls can't betray you, silence can't lie, and in your own company, you're safe. Trait 4. You recharge alone. While others gain energy from crowds, you lose it. Every interaction costs you something. Every conversation drains your battery. Every social gathering leaves you exhausted, even when you enjoyed it. This isn't weakness, it's wiring. Introverts and highly sensitive people process stimuli differently. Your nervous system picks up on everything. The mood in the room, the tension between two people, the unspoken words, the energy shifts. So after hours of absorbing all that, you need silence. You need space. You need to retreat into yourself and reset. And there's no shame in that. The world will pressure you to be more social, more available, more normal. Ignore them. Because your need for solitude isn't a flaw, it's a requirement, like food, like sleep, like air. You don't owe anyone access to your energy. And the people who can't respect your boundaries don't deserve your presence. Trait 5. You think for yourself. You don't follow trends. You don't adopt beliefs just because everyone else does. You question everything. Authority, tradition, popular opinion. You refuse to let the crowd think for you. This makes you dangerous. Because independent thinkers threaten the status quo. They don't need validation. They don't need permission. They carve their own path, even when it's lonely. And it is lonely, because most people are followers. They parrot what they hear. They conform. They trade their individuality for acceptance. But you'd rather be alone and authentic than surrounded and fake. You spend time in your own head, reading, thinking, analyzing, building your own worldview brick by brick. And that's solitude. That's where your power grows. Because while others are distracted by the noise, you're sharpening your mind in the quiet. Trait 6. You've learned to enjoy your own company. This is the final evolution, the ultimate trait. Most people can't sit alone with their thoughts for 5 minutes without reaching for their phone, without turning on the TV, without calling someone, because they're terrified of what they'll find in the silence. But you've made peace with yourself. You've faced your demons, your regrets, your pain, and instead of running from them, you sat with them. You understood them. You integrated them. Now, solitude isn't just tolerable. It's preferred. You don't need others to make you feel whole. You don't need constant stimulation to feel alive. You found something most people search for their entire lives, contentment in your own presence. You enjoy your hobbies, your thoughts, your projects. You don't need an audience. You don't need applause. You create for yourself. You exist for yourself. And that terrifies people who can't do the same. You've built a life where you don't depend on anyone for your happiness. And that's a threat to those who need you to need them. Because here's what most people won't admit: they want you dependent. They want you weak. They want you seeking their approval, their validation, their company. When you stop needing them, they lose power over you. And that makes them uncomfortable. So they'll shame you. They'll call you weird, antisocial, cold. They'll say you're missing out on life, that you're isolating yourself, that you need to get out more. But what they really mean is, come back to the cage. Come back where we can see you, where we can control you. Don't go back. The people who prefer solitude aren't running from life. They're running towards something deeper. Something most people are too distracted to ever find. They're building an inner world so rich, so vast, so complete that the outer world can't compete. And that takes work, real work. The kind most people aren't willing to do. You have to face yourself, all of yourself. The good, the bad, the ugly. The parts you're proud of and the parts you hide. You have to sit with your failures, your shame, your anger, your pain. You can't numb it with distractions anymore. You can't drown it out with noise. In solitude, There's nowhere to hide. It's just you and the truth. And for most people, that's hell. But for you, it becomes liberation. Because once you've faced yourself completely, nothing outside can touch you. No insult lands, no rejection stings, no betrayal breaks you. You've already seen your worst. You've already survived your darkest thoughts. What can the world possibly do to you that you haven't already done to yourself? This is why solitary people are so hard to manipulate. They don't need external validation. They don't need approval. They've built their sense of worth from within, brick by brick, in the quiet hours when no one was watching. They know who they are, and they don't need you to confirm it. Let's talk about what happens when you don't develop this trait. When you stay dependent on others for your sense of self, you become a puppet. Every opinion shapes you. Every criticism wounds you. Every bit of gossip about you sends you spiraling. You're constantly performing, constantly adjusting, constantly seeking approval from people who don't even know themselves. You lose your identity. You become a reflection of what others want you to be. And the worst part, you think that's connection. You think that's belonging. But it's not. It's slavery. Real connection happens when two whole people come together. Not two halves desperately trying to complete each other. Not two broken pieces using each other as crutches. But two individuals who have done the work, who know themselves, who can stand alone but choose to stand together. And you can't get there without solitude. You can't become whole by constantly pouring yourself into others. You have to fill your own cup first. And that happens alone. The paradox is this: the more comfortable you become with being alone, the better your relationships become. Because you're no longer desperate. You're no longer clinging. You're no longer tolerating disrespect just to avoid loneliness. You have standards now, boundaries, self-respect. You walk away from people who drain you. You say no without guilt. You choose quality over quantity. And the people who remain, they're there because they genuinely add value to your life, not because you're afraid of being alone. That's power. Real power, not the loud, performative kind, the quiet, unshakable kind. Now let's address the criticism you'll face, because it's coming. Or maybe it's already here. People will call you selfish. They'll say you're shutting them out, that you've changed, that you're not fun anymore, that you're too serious, too distant, too much in your own head. Let them say it. Because what they're really saying is this: you're not serving my needs anymore. You're not playing the role I assigned you. And that makes me uncomfortable. Their discomfort is not your responsibility. You don't owe anyone your energy. You don't owe anyone your time. You don't owe anyone access to your inner world just because they demand it. Your solitude is sacred. Guard it fiercely. But here's the nuance they won't understand. Choosing solitude doesn't mean rejecting all human connection. It means being intentional about it. It means protecting your peace. It means understanding that not every invitation deserves acceptance. Not every relationship deserves maintenance. Not every person deserves your presence. You're not antisocial. You're selectively social. There's a difference. Antisocial means you hate people. Selectively social means you value yourself too much to waste your time on people who don't reciprocate that value. You're not afraid of connection. You're just unwilling to settle for shallow imitations of it. And this is where most people fail. They confuse quantity with quality. They think having 100 acquaintances is better than having 3 real friends. They think being invited to every party means they're loved. They think popularity equals worth, but you know better. You've learned that one deep conversation at 3 in the morning with someone who truly gets you is worth more than 1,000 surface-level interactions with people who barely know your name. You've learned that being alone is better than being with people who make you feel alone. That's wisdom. Hard-earned wisdom. the kind that only comes from experience, from pain, from choosing yourself when everyone else wanted you to choose them. Let's go deeper into the psychology of this. Why do some people thrive in solitude while others crumble? It comes down to one thing: relationship. Most people have a terrible relationship with themselves. They don't like who they are. They're haunted by their mistakes, their regrets, their perceived inadequacies. So they avoid themselves. They stay busy. They stay distracted. They surround themselves with people so they never have to face the person in the mirror. But you've done the work. You've looked in that mirror, not once, but repeatedly. You've examined your flaws, your wounds, your patterns, and instead of running from them, you accepted them, integrated them, made peace with them. You've become your own best friend, your own counsel, your own source of comfort. And once you achieve that, solitude transforms from something to fear into something to cherish. This doesn't mean you're perfect. It means you're honest. You know your darkness. You know your capacity for mistakes. And you've stopped pretending you don't. That's maturity. That's growth. That's the foundation of true strength. And it scares people. Because when they see you comfortable in your solitude, it holds up a mirror to their own avoidance. It forces them to question why they can't sit still, why they need constant validation, why silence terrifies them. You remind them of what they're running from, and they resent you for it. Don't apologize for their discomfort. You're not responsible for their unfinished inner work. Here's another truth: solitary people are often the most loyal, the most trustworthy, the most genuine. Why? Because they don't need you. They choose you. There's a massive difference. When someone needs you, their loyalty is conditional. It's transactional. They stick around as long as you're useful, as long as you're fulfilling their needs. But the moment you stop, they're gone. But when someone chooses you, when they're perfectly fine alone, but decide your presence adds value to their life, that's real. That's rare. That's the kind of loyalty money can't buy. Solitary people don't collect friends like trophies. They don't network for advantage. They don't maintain relationships out of obligation. Every person in their life is there intentionally, deliberately, and that means something. If you've earned the trust of someone who prefers solitude, treasure it, because they've let you into a fortress most people never get to see. They've shared their inner world with you, and they don't do that lightly. And if you are that person, the one who prefers solitude, understand your value. Understand that your selectivity isn't a flaw. It's a filter. It keeps the parasites out. It protects your energy. It ensures that the people who remain are worthy of the space they occupy in your life. You're not cold. You're careful. And there's nothing wrong with that. Now let's talk about the transformation, the evolution. Because preferring solitude is just the beginning. What you do with that solitude, that's where the real power lies. Most people waste their alone time. They scroll mindlessly. They binge watch. They numb themselves with distractions until it's time to be social again. They treat solitude like a waiting room, a temporary state before they rejoin the noise. But not you. You've learned to weaponize it. In solitude, you build, you create, you strategize, you learn. While others are performing for an audience, you're sharpening your skills in the dark. While they're seeking validation, you're validating yourself through action, through progress, through becoming. You read the books they don't have the patience for. You develop the skills they're too distracted to master. You think the thoughts they're too afraid to explore. You ask the questions they don't even know exist, and slowly, quietly, without announcement or applause, you become dangerous. Not in a violent way, in a competent way, in a self-sufficient way, in a way that makes you untouchable. Because here's the secret: solitude is the forge where power is made. Every great thinker spent time alone. Every innovator, every revolutionary, they withdrew from the world not to hide from it, but to understand it, to see it clearly, to build something that would change it. You can't do that in the chaos. You can't do that surrounded by opinions and noise and demands on your attention. You need silence. You need space. You need the freedom to think without interference. And that's what you've claimed. That's what you've protected. And now it's time to use it. Start with self-mastery, discipline, routine. In your solitude, you have no one to impress, no one to perform for, which means you can be brutally honest with yourself about where you're failing, where you're weak, where you're making excuses. You can set a standard for yourself and actually hold yourself to it. Because there's no one there to enable your mediocrity. No one there to tell you it's okay to quit. No one there to let you off the hook. Just you and your conscience. You and your goals. You and the person you've decided to become. That's accountability. Pure, unfiltered accountability, and it will transform you faster than any motivational speech or supportive friend ever could. Next, build your mind. Feed it. Challenge it. Push it beyond its comfortable limits. Read philosophy, psychology, history, strategy. Read the books that make you uncomfortable. The ones that challenge your beliefs. The ones that force you to think differently. Study human nature. Not to manipulate people, but to understand them. To see the patterns, the motivations, the weaknesses. The knowledge is power. And in solitude, you have the time to acquire it. Learn new skills. Master your craft. Whatever you do, become exceptional at it. Not for recognition, not for praise, but because excellence is its own reward. Because mastery feels better than mediocrity ever could. While others are wasting time on social media, you're building expertise. While they're gossiping and complaining, you're creating value. And eventually, that gap becomes impossible to ignore. You'll surpass them. Quietly, inevitably. And they'll wonder how. They'll never understand. Because they can't sit still long enough to do the work. Now let's talk about emotional mastery. Because solitude will test you. It will force you to confront every unresolved wound, every suppressed emotion, every uncomfortable truth you've been avoiding. And this is where most people break. They get lonely. They get desperate. They run back to toxic relationships, to bad habits, to anything that numbs the pain. But you're going to sit with it. You're going to feel it fully. The loneliness, the doubt, the fear, the anger, all of it. And instead of letting it destroy you, you're going to let it refine you. Because pain is information. Loneliness is telling you something. Maybe it's telling you that you need to build deeper connections. Or maybe it's telling you that you're healing. That you're finally letting go of people who hurt you. That you're choosing yourself for the first time. Listen to it. Don't run from it. Process it. Write about it. Think through it. Understand what it's trying to teach you. And on the other side of that pain, you'll find something most people never discover: emotional independence. You'll stop needing others to regulate your emotions. You'll stop relying on external circumstances to make you happy. You'll build an inner stability so solid that nothing outside can shake it. That's freedom. Real freedom. Not the kind the world sells you. The kind you forge in the fire of your own solitude. Here's what happens when you reach this level. You become magnetic. People sense it. They can't explain it, but they feel it. You're different. You're grounded. You're not desperate for their attention. You're not performing. You're not trying to prove anything. You just are. And that's rare. That's attractive. That's the kind of presence that draws people in. Ironically, the more comfortable you become being alone, the less alone you'll actually be. Because people will gravitate toward your energy. They'll want what you have. They'll want to understand how you're so at peace. But here's the key. You won't need them to stay. You'll enjoy their company. You'll appreciate genuine connection, but you won't cling to it. You won't compromise yourself to maintain it. And that's the difference. That's the power. You've become the kind of person who can walk away from anything that doesn't serve you. Any relationship, any job, any situation, because you know you'll be fine alone. That's not arrogance. That's self-reliance. And it's the most valuable trait you'll ever develop. Let me tell you what your future looks like if you continue down this path. You'll build something meaningful. Maybe it's a business. Maybe it's art. Maybe it's a body of knowledge. Maybe it's a family you actually choose to invest in because you want to, not because you need to fill a void. Whatever it is, it'll be authentic. It'll be yours. It won't be a performance for others. It won't be a desperate attempt to prove your worth. It'll be an expression of who you truly are. You'll have fewer friends, but deeper bonds. Quality over quantity. People who know the real you. People you don't have to pretend around. People who respect your need for space and don't take it personally. You'll have peace. Real peace. The kind that comes from knowing yourself completely. From having nothing to hide. From being exactly who you are without apology. You'll have power. The kind that doesn't need to announce itself. The kind that comes from self-mastery. From discipline. From knowing you can rely on yourself no matter what. And you'll have perspective. You'll see through the games, the manipulation, the social hierarchies, the pointless drama. You'll see it all clearly because you're not caught up in it. You're watching from the outside, participating when it suits you, withdrawing when it doesn't. That's the ultimate advantage. Clarity, vision, understanding. While everyone else is drowning in the chaos, you're standing on the shore, watching the waves, deciding if and when to dive in. So here's my final message to you: embrace your solitude. Protect it. Use it. Let it shape you into something the world hasn't seen before. Don't apologize for needing space. Don't feel guilty for choosing yourself. Don't let anyone shame you for being different. You're not broken. You're built differently. And the world needs more people like you. People who think for themselves. People who can't be controlled. People who've done the inner work and come out stronger. The herd will always try to pull you back. They'll always pressure you to conform, to be more social, to be more available, to be less intense. Ignore them. They're not living your life. They're not building your future. They're not carrying your burdens. You are. And you're doing it alone. And that's exactly how it should be. Because in the end, everyone dies alone. Everyone faces their final moments with just themselves and their thoughts. And when that moment comes, you won't regret the parties you missed. You won't regret the shallow friendships you didn't maintain. You'll only regret the time you wasted trying to be someone you weren't. The time you spent seeking approval from people who didn't matter. The time you gave to those who didn't deserve it. So, take back your time. Take back your energy. Take back your life. Be alone. Be powerful. Be free. And watch what you become. That's the 6 traits. That's the psychology. That's the truth they won't tell you. You're not weird for preferring solitude. You're evolved. Now go use it.